Richard Feynman was the kind of scientist who treated the universe like a giant toy box stuffed with glowing mysteries, rattling puzzles, and cosmic secrets, all waiting to be opened by someone curious and mischievous enough to tug on the lid with a sparkle in his eye. He was born in 1918 in New York, a city bursting with noise, color, and busy energy, and little Richard grew up right in the middle of it all, soaking in every strange sound and sight, as if the world were whispering a never-ending stream of clues straight into his ears. As a kid, he could barely sit still, darting around the house like a bouncing particle, fiddling with radios, wires, batteries, and anything that made a satisfying click, pop, or zzzzzzzzz sound, treating electrical parts the way other kids treated toys or trading cards. He once built a burglar alarm for his younger sister's crib, complete with buzzers and flashing lights, just because it seemed hilariously unnecessary, because he loved the thrill of making inventions that nobody asked for but everyone remembered. His curiosity stretched farther than the New York skyline, reaching into the invisible world hidden behind everyday objects, and he would squint at a spinning top, a falling coin, or a wobbling plate with the puzzled fascination of someone watching the universe trying to tell a joke only he could almost understand. He devoured books like delicious mind snacks, reading late into the night with the lamp glowing over his head, grinning whenever he discovered something that made the universe feel even stranger, wilder, or more magnificent than he'd imagined the day before. He loved fixing radios, especially the broken ones that stumped adults, because every mysterious glitch felt like a riddle waiting for a clever kid to solve. And Richard, with his quick hands and quicker brain, became known as the boy who fixes everything. As he grew older, he realized that the universe didn't just whisper clues, it shouted them, sparkled with them, and practically threw them at anyone paying attention. And this made him fall hopelessly in love with physics, the science that cracked open reality's secret codes. At MIT, Richard studied with the intensity of a kid trying to win a cosmic treasure hunt, scribbling equations that looked like artistic lightning bolts across pages, windows, chalkboards, and sometimes even napkins if the moment demanded it. His professors knew immediately that he wasn't just smart, he was explosively, comically, wonderfully brilliant, the kind of student who could turn the hardest physics problem into an exciting adventure full of surprising twists and moments of triumphant clarity. He spoke about science in a voice full of energy, humor, and vivid imagination, explaining complex ideas with stories about ants, spinning plates, rubber bands, and wiggling jelly, making his classmates laugh while their brains quietly expanded. When World War II arrived, Richard was invited to join the Manhattan Project, the secret mission to develop the atomic bomb, and though the task weighed heavily on him, he worked tirelessly, solving problems that had baffled entire teams. Even in the high-security labs, Richard couldn't resist causing harmless mischief, cracking safes full of classified documents just to prove he could, leaving funny notes inside them, and startling guards who had no idea how he managed to slip past every rule without breaking a single one. He loved puzzles the way birds love flying, and he treated physics as the ultimate puzzle, the grand challenge of piecing together the invisible laws that made the universe dance, sparkle, collide, and sing. After the war, he became a professor at Caltech, where students flocked to his lectures, as if he were a rock star of science, eager to hear him unravel quantum mysteries with jokes, wild gestures, and chalk that sometimes shattered because he wrote with too much enthusiasm. He made the tiniest particles feel alive, describing electrons as little performers jumping between energy levels, photons as lightspeed messengers zooming through space, and atoms as buzzing, vibrating cities filled with activity too fast for the human eye to catch. He had a laugh that bubbled up like a cheerful volcano erupting in pure delight, and whenever he explained something complicated, his whole face lit up as if the universe had just given him a secret high five. Feynman revolutionized physics with his brilliant diagrams, simple sketches of squiggles, loops, arrows, and wavy lines that looked like playful doodles from a notebook but actually represented the behavior of subatomic particles with astonishing accuracy. Scientists around the world stared at these drawings with awe, realizing that Richard had turned the chaotic world of quantum mechanics into something visual, elegant, and strangely fun, like watching the universe reveal its moves through cartoon-like choreography. His work on quantum electrodynamics earned him the Nobel Prize in 1965, but when people congratulated him, he just shrugged, cracked a joke, and said he only cared about figuring things out, not collecting shiny medals. Outside the classroom, he indulged in endless hobbies, diving into them with the same fiery delight he brought to physics, whether he was learning to draw portraits, practicing drumming on wooden bongos, or attempting to crack ancient Mayan hieroglyphs for fun. He was the kind of person who could turn any ordinary moment into a curiosity-filled adventure, and he believed that joy and wonder were essential tools for learning, as important as chalk, notebooks, or even equations. One of his most famous stories came from the time he watched a plate wobbling in the air at a cafeteria, and instead of just letting it fall or catching it like a normal person, he became obsessed with the strange spinning motion and ended up discovering insights about quantum mechanics along the way. His teaching style overflowed with enthusiasm, and when he explained difficult concepts, it was as if he opened a door to a secret room filled with glowing ideas that suddenly made perfect sense, even to students who thought they would never understand physics. He traveled the world exploring foreign neighborhoods, chatting with strangers, and playing music with street performers, always chasing the thrill of learning something new, whether scientific or simply human. But he also had moments of deep seriousness, especially when he spoke about truth, honesty, and scientific integrity, reminding everyone that the universe doesn't bend to wishes, it reveals itself only to those who observe it carefully and admit their own mistakes. After the Challenger space shuttle disaster, Richard served on the investigation committee, and he famously dunked a piece of rubber O-ring into a glass of ice-cold water on live TV to prove exactly how and why the tragedy occurred, revealing a truth that others had tried to ignore. He believed that real science required courage, the courage to ask questions, to doubt, to test, and to follow the evidence wherever it led, even when the answers were uncomfortable or unpopular. In his later years, he continued teaching, writing, laughing, drumming, exploring, and telling stories that inspired countless young minds, each one shaped by the joy he carried like a bright lantern through the mysterious corridors of knowledge. He reminded everyone that curiosity was a superpower, that mistakes were stepping stones to understanding, and that the universe became more beautiful the closer you looked, even if what you discovered was strange, surprising, or downright weird. His books, filled with humor and honesty, continue to open doors for young thinkers, encouraging them not to memorize science, but to experience it, to question it, to poke at it, and to treat it like the world's greatest playground. Today, his ideas sparkle across physics classrooms, laboratories, and textbooks, inspiring students to imagine particles wiggling, forces interacting, and hidden laws weaving themselves through the cosmos like shimmering threads. His legacy shines like a mischievous star in the night sky, a reminder that learning should feel alive, joyful, and filled with the thrill of discovery, not weighed down by fear or boredom. Kids reading about him today often smile, imagining a scientist who played drums, cracked safes, told hilarious stories, and solved equations that unlocked the secrets of light, matter, and energy. Richard Feynman showed the world that science is not a cold, distant subject but a vibrant, exciting adventure treasure hunt across the universe, where every question is a doorway and every answer leads to another mystery. His life teaches us that wonder is powerful, that imagination can change the world, and that the universe, at its heart, is a playful, magnificent puzzle waiting for curious minds to explore. And every time someone asks why, or how, or what happens if I try this, they are continuing Feynman's joyful mission to make sense of the world with humor, courage, creativity, and a heart full of bright curiosity. Richard Feynman, the magician of physics, still inspires kids everywhere to chase questions, embrace surprises, laugh while learning, and uncover the hidden beauty shimmering inside the universe's tiniest secrets.